This is Jeff Mucci with RCR Wireless News. We're here at the RCR ATX Studio Lounge in Austin, Texas with Viavi Solutions. Kashif, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff.
So talk about this new workforce automation product you're going to be announcing soon.
Yeah. So what we have here is basically our new feature that is coming out for our CellAdvisor product. It's called Baseband Emulation, where actually our CellAdvisor can work as a baseband unit in a sense to help cell site technicians who are doing the fiber certifications as well as the sweep at the time of installation, and they can do both the complete testing in one run. So how they do it, before we go into that, let's look at it how it works today. So basically today, a cell site technician would come up to the cell site, they will install the fibers, they will run the sweep test, they will run the FTTS certifications, and they will mount the remote radios and all that stuff, right? Once they do all that, they create a report, send it to the project manager, and then they leave the site. Now at a later point, what happens that basically you will have a baseband unit getting installed, and once the baseband unit is installed, then you go back and do a complete certification of the cell site. You test the cell site completely. Now at that time when you run into some problems, for example, the firmware was not right for the radios, or you have cables basically which were,
so it's a separate
misplaced.
team that comes out and does the baseband?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a typical way of working, because these are the contractors which will come out, then you will call the NEMs, and usually the NEMs will have somebody coming out and installing a baseband unit. The disadvantage of that is that, if you find any errors, which usually is the case, and actually up to 20 to 25% of the time we have seen that there is a revisit to the cell site. And if you have to go back and climb the tower again, that's at least a $2,500 cost to go up the tower. So with this solution, what we can do is use our CellAdvisor product as a baseband emulator. So at the time where you're in the first phase of installing the fibers, the remote radios, and antennas and all that stuff, you can connect the CellAdvisor, run the baseband emulation feature, and basically validate end-to-end the whole cell site. So you can check whether you have cables which are basically misplaced in the sense, or you have a remote radio problem, or you have a firmware or a software problem, or anything like that. So for example, like you can check the remote radio attributes, whether this is the right model, who is the manufacturer, what have you, your carrier configuration, pre-port settings, active software, basically SFP, whether there was a bad SFP or anything like that. You can also run a complete PIM analysis, basically a PIM detection at the same time, and spectrum clearance and sector coverage. So doing that, you actually save a significant amount of time. So the idea here is that how do you save time and money for the operator and the contractors, and how do they get paid fast?
Right.
So if you run all these tests in one go, you don't have to go back and do this go up the site again.
So this CellAdvisor is generating the signal, so you can do all these other tests. Do you
Yes.
need other equipment from Viavi to actually do the test, or is this to generate the signal as well as run these other tests?
Yes, pretty much with one equipment you can do that, but there can be some specific cases in which case you might need another CellAdvisor, but those are very specific CellAdvisor test cases.
Okay. And when's this going to be available in the market?
And more than likely this month that we are looking at launching it. Small cell is a very wide term, right? It's used for from a femto perspective, or DAS, or radio dot, or whatnot, right? Every vendor has a different definition of a small cell, going all the way to Wi-Fi. In a DAS solution, this can have significance from let's say you have a digital DAS, something like a TE connectivity solution.
Right.
So what you can do, because now you don't have an RF signal, actually you need a baseband signal. So you can use a baseband emulation feature from CellAdvisor while you're running all those DAS fiber cables and all that stuff, because this CellAdvisor product supports fiber as well as coax. So basically you can, while the first step, which is the installation and commissioning aspect of it, you can use CellAdvisor to do that testing as well.